Hello and welcome to the next installment of our Midstream Shorts video, where we hope to engage in conversation and improve the level of knowledge and learning about lighting through this series of videos. Now, for the next 5 minutes, I'd like to talk about something known as CRI. CRI stands for Color Rendering Index, and that basically is a measure of how well you can see color when when the artificial light is illuminating a task area. So the CRI index is from 0 to 100, and 100, that's the highest level, is not really achievable with LED technology. That is something where you have 100% sunlight on an object, and you can have the full color definition coming from that. The 0 is actually where you have no color definition. So even if you're illuminating an area and you can see the shapes, you can't distinguish the colors. And actually, in the old technology, the low pressure sodium lamps, those long orange colored street lamps, were just that. They had a 0 CRI and you couldn't distinguish any kind of color. As technology developed, high pressure sodium was an improvement. So if you remember those big yellow floodlights, those were giving you a 20 or 30 CRI. So you could distinguish some colors, but it wasn't very clear. And then of course metal halides really changed the game. They moved it up to about 70 or 80, which is really a lot, or maybe 60 and 70. It was really a lot for that level of technology. Now with LEDs, we typically start at 70. So 70 is a very high level, and that would typically be used in all kind of infrastructure applications. In ports, airports, logistics centers, you really wouldn't need more than 70. You can see all the colors quite well, and for a human eye, for that perception, it's probably the maximum that you need. You kind of get into the realms of 80 and 90 when you're talking about things that need high definition cameras, and that actually moves into the area of elite sports. So for example, if you are a FIFA elite level stadium and you're having a game that is using high definition cameras, that is using slow motion capture cameras, those will typically need 80 or most likely 90 CRI. And then at that level, you get into something called TLCI, which is a kind of a measure really aimed at television, and it has its own sort of metric. Further to that, you can then start to play around with the requirements of how much red or others you need. So the R9 is how much red hue you can distinguish in any kind of a light. And those are very specific requirements and typically needed for cameras and television. So all in all, the new technology with LEDs, you really should be completely comfortable with 70 for all infrastructure and all non-camera usage. And where cameras are required, well, 80 and 90 is the name of the game. So thank you for watching. Please leave us some comments below if you found that useful, or if you didn't, and tell us what else you'd like to hear about during the next several episodes that we run on Midstream Shorts. Thanks and have a great day.